everybody. Welcome back to Plus This. I am Kathy Deach, and we are here with season 4. Can you even stand it? I can't. It's unbelievable to me. We have over 50 episodes hanging out on YouTube and Facebook for you to check out. And we're in a new studio, which is enjoyable. UBN Go has been rebranded and moved to Burbank, which is really fun. And another thing that's really fun is that I have someone extraordinary sitting next to me. She is an actress. That's how I knew her first. She's a comedian, which that's how lots of people know her. And she is a fabulous fat activist and survived divinity school, which we will get into when we interview her and in depth in just 2 seconds. Please welcome Nikki Bailey to the show. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, my first episode on Plus This. I am a fan of the show. And now I'm on the show. Yes, that's how it go, people.
With like a sparkling eye that is wearing me out, frankly.
Girl, you know I love my glitter.
I know.
I have to keep my glitter
but it's
on.
like multicolored. It's like a fade.
I told you I just kept applying until it looked right. There was no plan. Let's try some of this now.
I know, but I love that you also were like, am I going to do a bold lip? And I was like, are you not? That's an option? Not? No, you look beautiful. I'm so glad you're here. It's really funny because you and I have been working together on a sketch comedy show for months. Really, as soon as we went off the air in November is when that kicked into high gear. Mm-hmm. So we are now partners with a whole group of fat women who are amazing called Fatch Comedy. And so it's so nice to be on, it's like I was a part of Nikki's thing, guys, and now she's like part of my thing.
Oh God. Yeah.
Excellent. So I want our audience to get to know you. First of all, it's kind of crazy that you weren't a guest on the show earlier. I don't know how that happened.
It's okay. I was listening. I was watching.
You were?
Well, listening. I wasn't watching, but I was listening faithfully. So
yes, we spend a lot of time in our cars. Sometimes in LA, that's easier. But often on the show, even I sort of set this precedent, not precedence. Sibilance, guys. Sibilance. We set a precedent to kind of ask people if they do identify as fat. Mm-hmm. And because I know you do already, I don't really have to ask you that. But I thought it might be interesting for people who are watching / listening to know how that came about for you. Was it an actual change that happened dramatically, or was there someone you heard speak or something you read that you were like, yes, or was it sort of a gradual thing that happened to you?
It was gradual. I think I started with just sort of realizing myself that my life wasn't working, being obsessed with my weight and constantly feeling like I wasn't good enough. And then Oprah said she was going to stop dieting. And I was like, well, shoot. If Oprah don't got to do it, I don't got to do it. But what I discovered is that when I stopped dieting, I gained some weight, but also my obsession about whether or not it was okay for me to not diet, that became the thing. Am I acceptable if I'm not dieting? I'm not trying to fix this, so is that okay? And then I just stumbled upon books. I remember finding Fatso.
Yes.
And
great book.
And just some articles and just being you know what? Why do I have to apologize for this? And why have we decided that the word fat is a bad word? It's a descriptive. I was it just sort of it just occurred to me that I didn't have to be bound by society and the terms of society. And it was over time, I just got more and more bold with it. And it was sort of part of the process of also recognizing my own beauty, being able to look at myself and go, I'm pretty. Not I'm pretty for a fat girl, or not I have a pretty face,
period.
But I am pretty, period.
Yeah. Done and
done.
done.
So it was all that kind of happened at the same time. And I was I'm pretty and I'm fat, and that's fine. And that's amazing. And I'm amazing.
I mean, all of the above is true.
Yeah,
just so
definitely.
You know, I think that.
Thank you.
Also, I'm wondering if you had any moments with your family or close friends that were like shocked when you like first called yourself fat in that positive way, or like in that just descriptor way? And if you have any stories about that, I mean, that's always, I mean, I definitely have had eyes like I mean, I have a lot of stories about eyes bulging out.
Oh yeah, definitely. There was a lot of, oh, but you're not fat, you're pretty. No. Recognize I am fat and pretty. Like, it's not, you're not insulting me anymore. So there was a lot of that. And at the time, I was probably in seminary. I went to seminary.
You really did.
I went to seminary,
y'all. She really went to seminary.
I went to seminary.
And she's with like, I'm like a champion swearer. Like my friends were like, I can't believe we went to St. Patrick's Cathedral and you dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah.
But like not even thinking about it.
I have a theory though about cursing. I believe, do you know how Jesus went into temples and like we went into the temple and turned over the table?
Yeah.
You know he cussed when he did that.
Of course.
It's not in the Bible, but you can't actually flip a table over without cussing.
Swearing.
You cuss when you turn a table over.
What if he was literally like, myself?
Darn myself!
Myself
praise. Yes. So but while I was in seminary, I was living on campus in an apartment, and it was a really close-knit community, and I would have people come over to my apartment, and, you know, like just in the course of casual conversation, people would be like, oh, I feel so fat today, or I don't like the way my thighs look in these shorts. And so I got sick of that, so I posted outside of my door, on my door, a series of rules for coming into my space. And the rules were no fat shaming allowed. And there were, I think, 11 or 13 rules. Like, if you feel fat, go home. I was like, fat, and also, like, fat is not a feeling. Like, it's not a feeling. There's no emotional component, you know, like, it's not a feeling. So if you want to compare your thighs to mine, go home. It was just a lot of, like, don't come in my space, talking a lot of body shaming crap, not the one. And it was great.
I talked to you about that and about how I find that to be amazing. How old were you when you did that?
Oh, I was old. I was in my 30s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I wasn't.
But even in my 30s, like I did not set boundaries like that with people at all. I didn't even, I was in dressing rooms with people. I was definitely the fattest one in there. They were all dancers on Broadway.
Yeah.
And I was still hiding. So like the fact that you found a way to do that, even I'm sure there were people that you cared about what they thought of you and you still did it. I just find that's amazing to me. And frankly, I think ahead of your time, maybe. And maybe
it might have been.
Yeah.
And also, I also got to a place in my life where I didn't care too much about what other people thought of me. So I probably always had a little bit of that because I'm a little extra. We just meeting, y'all, plus this, folks. We just meeting. I'm extra. So I don't really care that much what other people think of me.
Right.
But that was a really wonderful moment of me standing in my truth and my power, and I didn't have to like sort of, I didn't have to cuss anybody out. It was just on my door. Agree to these terms and come in. You don't agree? Go ahead on.
Did anyone ever give you fever over that? Did you ever get into altercations about that?
I had a couple of friends who were like, I feel called out and I feel like you're censoring me. Go somewhere else.
Right.
There are other apartments in this building.
Yes,
you have an apartment.
I
Go
actually
somewhere else.
am.
Yes.
You are right. As I like to say, I am a fascist on my Facebook wall.
Word. Okay.
I kick people right out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, my brother once said, sis, don't be a fascist. And I'm like, oh no, I will be a fascist on my Facebook wall.
This is one place where fascism works. So
Exactly.
it's on my in my house, on my social media. Yes.
Exactly. So that kind of folds into the next place we're going to, which is, I feel like when I started Plus This, I did not consider myself a fat activist. I was a fat actress that just wanted to work, and I didn't understand why I wasn't getting opportunities. And when I was finding out all the things that were stacked against me in order to accomplish that, I got really pissed about it. And then it sort of rolled into, well, how do you have effective conversations with creative people, and how do you get people to be aware that things that they say actually are microaggressions, like actually are not making the world a safe place for fat people. So then I would say this show, you can literally clock me as I become a fat activist. It's kind of amazing. I was just thinking about how like my niece and nephew, when they're like in their 30s and I'm all like with my cane and stuff, like they're gonna be like, oh, we have all these videos of you available, like to see, and they actually get to see that journey, which is crazy to me. But I thought you were a fat activist just when you were like, I want to start a fat sketch comedy group. I was like, that bitch is one. Like, I wasn't even like questioning it. But you and I have sort of talked since then. And you're like, yeah, it took a second to come around to that. So when did it become not just your personal journey, but like a journey that you wanted to bring out to the world?
Like 2 weeks ago.
I
legitimately I legitimately wrote in my journal a few weeks ago, I don't want to be a fat activist. I just want to live my life. And the only way I can live my life, though, the only way I can get to just sort of be who I am without negative consequences, without people telling me who I have to be or how I should dress or whatever, the only way I can do that is if I'm a fat activist. Because if I just go on about my own business, nothing's changing. And I've been working on myself for a really long time, and crazily enough, when you work on yourself, it doesn't mean the world changes. And so I got to LA, and I was so sort of in my fat pride, before I moved to Los Angeles. I was so grounded in my truth. Yes. And then I got to LA. It's a whole other thing. And like, can we cuss on this show?
Yes, you can.
And my shit got fucked up when I came to LA. Let me tell you, my shit got fucked up because I came here feeling like I am a confident, fat, black, queer woman. I don't care what anybody has to say. I don't have no hair. I do what I want. I goes where I want. And then I got here and I started looking at casting breakdowns, and they were deeply offensive on so many levels, racially, in terms of gender, but definitely in terms of size. And I was like, this is crazy. Why are all the casting breakdowns written for sloppy, ugly? They would say sloppy, ugly, fat, matronly, whatever. And I'm like, but I'm not those things. I'm not sloppy or ugly or matronly or so why are those the roles that are available for me? So I was like, what do I do? How do I get to a place where I can be the performer that I want to be and also inhabit the body that I'm in and live peacefully? So I started doing stand-up comedy from that because I was like, great, I can control that. I get the microphone. I'm the only person on stage. Nobody can tell me what I can or cannot say. And from the very beginning, got negative backlash for telling jokes about being fat. Got a lot of, you can't say that word. Don't say that word. That word alienates an audience. Don't say that word.
Hate people.
Yeah. So, and then just over time, sort of realizing that if I'm going to be an actor in LA, I either have to find a way to do it as I am, or I have to change. And so what happened is I leaned toward change, and I was like, well, I have to look different. Because LA really messed me up, like the psychological trauma of like moving all to the other side of the country and then discovering that everyone here, if you've never been to LA, everyone here walks around in yoga gear. They're not going to yoga. Nope. They're not even coming from yoga.
Nope.
But they are wearing yoga gear, and you're walking around like, I don't look like that.
Yeah, because they want to identify as that. Yeah. They want to identify as wellness. Yeah. I am wellness.
And I was like, and I don't look like that. So I need to get to a place. So I ended up having weight loss surgery when I got here, maybe 2-3 years ago. And it went horribly wrong, and
thank God you're here.
Yeah, and I almost died, and it was a whole thing. Yeah, definitely. It was a whole thing. And then after that happened, I realized that wasn't the right answer for me. Like, it first of all, it didn't work.
Right.
I lost the weight and gained it back, just like I've always done. And also, it was like a moment of like reckoning for me, where I was like, you know what? This almost killed me. Look what happens when I'm not true to my authentic self. Now, I'm not saying if you have weight loss surgery, you're not being true to who you are, but it wasn't true. It wasn't true to who I am.
Yeah.
And so for me, it just was like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. We're not going to compromise who I am for anybody else ever
Yeah.
again. So
I was just talking to someone about how it was a student of mine, actually. I teach voice lessons, if you guys don't know. And I just had a sale. So I have a lot of new students. So thanks, rent check. But she was talking, and she was really like trying to get out of her 9 to 5 and trying to figure out a way to get more influence on TV and film and sort of meet the people who were making those things happen, and who like, where can I be places where that's happening? And she's a woman of color. And I said, listen, what's messed up about LA is that it is hella segregated, but it's within that segregation that you learn how to shine, and then someone from the establishment will come and pluck you. Mm-hmm. And so I said, I was like, you should, find your people. Like, what theater companies are there that are specifically for who you are? Like, stuff like that. And I was like, and I feel like in the fat community here, we're so marginalized, like in a whole other way than even living in New York. Like in New York, I never felt the way that I do here. I truly felt invisible for like my first 3 or 4 years here. Yeah. And like that invisibility then makes you even like crunch in harder with your people. And then I think that causes its own drama, which we're going to get into, because we're definitely going to like have a lot to talk about since we were on the air in November. Like, so much has happened.
So much.
Yeah, but there is sort of like this community thing where, I want to shine within my community, but like, even so, like, you're not guaranteed for that establishment to pick up on you. That's at least hard.
It's so hard. And even finding that community, like finding your people, is hard. So then, I have found pockets of my people, through sketch comedy in particular. I found a group of women of color that I work with and that I really love. And then I've found different communities of people. The one community I hadn't found was the fat community. And I knew it was here. I knew enough just from Instagram that there was a large population.
There were hashtags.
There were hashtags. I knew.
Fatspo.
Yeah, like I knew everybody was here. I knew y'all was here. Okay. But just in terms of performance, as a performer, there wasn't a resource for me. So I was like, I'm going to create one.
Yeah. It is something that's needed. And as somebody who also tried the comedy route because I was so frustrated, I was like, if I see one more stand-up comic get a job over me, 10 years of acting class and just degrees, and it doesn't matter. Like, I went the stand-up route too, and I couldn't take it. Like, we're going to talk more about that, but I don't know how you do it, because I literally, after one time, was like, this is not it. I mean, sketch feels much better. And we're actually going to let you see some of Nikki's comedy now. And we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back with Plus This.
It's Sunday. Did anybody go to church today? Yes. Good for you. I didn't. I have a Master's of Divinity degree, which means I went to seminary. I went to church every day for 3 years. I don't ever have to go again. It's fantabulous. I come from this really religious household. My dad was a pastor. We were at church like every day of the week, all the time. We went to church on Sunday all day. I loved church. Church is like super formative for me. It's where I learned how to be confident speaking in front of people. It's where I learned how to memorize scriptures, which helped me learn in school. And it's where I learned to develop crushes on closeted gay men. It was really very formative. I love church, but it kind of messed me up a little bit. Like, I'm deeply spiritual, but I'm kind of a hot mess, because church was kind of messed up. At my church, we sang this song on the first Sunday of every month, which was Communion Sunday. And the song went like this. There is a fountain filled with blood, drawn from Emmanuel's veins. A fountain of blood. And I would be at church in my little choir robe, my white choir robe, and I would be singing my heart out, but imagining myself singing in a fountain of blood. When I got older and I saw the movie Carrie, I thought it was a Christian film. I didn't know. I was very surprised. We sang this other song that had hand movements. I'm going to show you one like this, right?
I love the Carrie joke because my kids, where I teach at my college, just say Carrie. So.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I have like a special place in my heart for Carrie. Yeah, for sure. So we decided, the two of us, that we wanted to do like a fat State of the Union. Hashtag FSOTU, I guess.
Nice.
I put that down.
That's impressive.
I think I did that on Twitter, guys. So at Plus This Show, you can tag us in your Fat State of the Union.
Fat State of the Union.
That happened to you in 2019, or that you discovered that you loved. One thing that ticked up was Plunkett Research came out with a new study, and now it's 68% of women are size 14 and above.
68% of women are a size 14 and above.
And the average is a size 16, 18. Mm-hmm. And by the way, she's also 5'3", so she's much closer to me than everybody. I'm Ella average over here.
She's real regular.
Very regular. By the way, oh my God, we haven't talked about this yet. We are both from Philly.
Hey,
so like,
Philly.
I actually don't know what could happen. Anything could happen here.
Anything could
we
happen.
We could talk for an entire hour with our Philadelphia accents.
Because like, I need a glass of water.
Were you from North Philly though?
Yeah, like my family's from North
Yeah,
Philly.
I'm from over by the airport, hon. I'm like full on like Southwest Philly all the way.
I'm actually from South Jersey, but my church and my grandparents are in Philly, and so I was because I went to church so
Palmyra?
often. No, it wasn't no. Blackwood.
Cherry Hill?
Blackwood.
Oh, Blackwood.
Like no. I'm not.
Oh my God, don't make me cry laughing. Oh my God.
But I spent my summers in Philadelphia with my grandparents, and then we were there every weekend because that's where my church was. So I was really only in New Jersey 5 days a week.
Okay.
Like four and a half days a week.
You're still a Jersey girl.
You still
are.
You know what? I don't claim Jersey.
You don't.
But here's why I don't claim Jersey. Because when you claim Jersey, people think you mean North Jersey.
They do.
And that's a whole different state.
You're like almost, I mean, you are South Jersey, but what I love is that people completely ignore Central Jersey. Like, that's not even a thing.
Right.
And it is deeply a thing.
It's deeply a thing.
Trenton is a thing.
There are 3 distinct sections of New Jersey. And so when you say Jersey, because the Jersey that everybody knows is like the North Jersey, where they talk like they talk in New York.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like all those guys from like Jersey Shore and everything.
Yeah, from Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, the Jersey Shore is tricky, though, because the Jersey Shore was actually Wildwood, New Jersey.
It was Wildwood, New Jersey, but they were all from Staten Island. So, like, nobody knows what New Jersey sounds like. So, like, people are always like, oh, and they try to do that Tony Soprano thing. That's not my Jersey.
And in Philly movies, they always do that. And every time I cringe, I'm like, that's not a Philly accent.
It's so true.
Do you know who did a great James McAvoy? Did you see him do that Philadelphia accent on Saturday Night Live?
No.
I'm going to change your life. Go watch it. James McAvoy, SNL. It's amazing, guys. You have to, I'm sure my family has already reposted it 18 times.
Can I tell you the movie where it pissed me off? What was the one with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence?
The Silver Linings Playbook.
The Silver Linings Playbook.
Hun, that was totally shot all over Delaware County.
All over.
And they didn't even know how to do Philadelphia accent. And he's from there. So he really should have done one.
They said King of Prussia. That is not how you say it. Yes, it is 3 distinct words, King of Prussia. But how we say it is King of Prussia.
Yeah, King of Prussia. It's King of Prussia. No.
Yeah.
Busted. Anyway, we got on that tangent.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Fat State of the Union. I feel like we should. Next time, we're going to do a graphic.
Yeah,
graphic, Fat State of the Union. Next time we come back from a break, season 5.
Yes.
So, the big thing that happened, I think the crown jewel in the State of the Union is Shrill, which is on Hulu. Only 6 episodes, but it's coming back.
It's coming back because those were a bomb-ass 6 episodes.
If you didn't get your Hulu subscription just for the month, you could probably get it for free even.
You could probably get a trial.
They get a trial. Maybe just 2-week trial, but do it. I watched it in one sitting, 3 hours, no biggie.
And if you still can't find a way to see it, call me. I'll hook you up with a login. We'll get you watching, all right? It was so good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. And someone wrote about it really eloquently and was like, it's because we're actually seeing through things through a fat lens. And even Dietland, as great as it is, still had, you could tell it had a straight sized showrunner.
Yeah, definitely.
And that it really needed to split that time. As much as I love Dietland and still wanted it to continue, it felt like it needed to give as much time to feminism and thin people. And
I feel like I agree. Like they needed to make a choice, and so the story about Jennifer kind of overridden, somethinged the story about the main character whose name I can't remember, but Plum, exactly,
Yeah.
yes. But I mean, I enjoyed the Jennifer storyline.
Oh, no, I did too.
I enjoyed both storylines. I just felt like, you're right, it didn't, like, it needed to decide which show it was going to be.
yeah.
I think.
Or, like, I mean, or not. I actually thought it deserved a season 2, but I digress. Let's talk about Shrill.
Shrill.
It is so interesting how many people who are not fat have talked to me about enjoying the show, but really it's the things that people say to her randomly, like, are really that's a little dramatic. And I'm like my face cracks and I go, oh, you don't think that's happened to me? And they're like, what? I'm like, no, bitch, you think that at New York at the gym when I was on Broadway at the gym, you think people didn't feel like they need to take my 8 shows a week dancing in a Broadway show's ass and tell me about how I can make myself better? Like I wasn't an athlete already?
Yeah.
And had no problems. Like I think that's actually why I stopped going to gyms, because so many people approached me trying to train me.
Yeah, I have that. I've had that so many. That or the someone walks by and gives you an encouraging thumbs up, like
vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the, I don't think we're really giving anything away. It's literally in the promos. But a girl sees her sort of looking at a bulletin board. Adie Bryant, by the way, so adorable. Sees the lead character like looking at a bulletin board in like a coffee place, and she says like, "I see the thin person inside you." And someone I know who I love, who's a writer, was like, "That's really that," and I was like, "That's
really offensive."
Literally has been said to me like. That, like, people really don't understand how easily people feel like they can talk to fat people.
Like, they have so much right to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a bit in my stand-up about how I was standing at Central Park West and 73rd and eating an ice cream cone, and a man walked up to me and said, "You shouldn't be eating that." And he proceeded to tell me that I was the reason his taxes were so high because I was probably on welfare and diabetic. And I was so stunned that I really didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I was already eating ice cream, so it's not like I could go someplace else for comfort. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was already in the ice cream.
You were working your serotonin levels out already.
So, like, I didn't even know where to go from there.
Oh, God.
But it's true. Like, people feel so entitled to comment on your body, your appearance, your food, you know, what you're buying in the grocery store. I've had people. And so that was really shocking to me as well, that like thin people are just like, that couldn't possibly be true, but it is.
Yeah.
It is so true.
Absolutely. And you do a show called AfterBuzz.
Right. I work for a network called AfterBuzz TV, and they do after show podcasts, right? So we did the first podcast that they did about Shrill, the first episode. They covered the first 3 episodes of Shrill, but it was 3 women who were not fat talking about it. And they did a fine job talking about, you know, the merits of the television show, but they missed entire layers of it because they didn't understand that this was the perspective of of a fat person. So they missed layers of it. And there was a lot that they identified with just because women
put up with crappy men all the time.
We put up with fuckboys all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like we're all, you know, like all that stuff. So when I was there for the second episode recap, I was able to sort of say to them,
let's be honest, you were straightening some people out.
I didn't read nobody, y'all.
You didn't, but you definitely straightened some people out.
I had on my respectable black woman panties that day. And I did not go for nobody's throat. I did not code switch or anything. I just was straight to the, like, really I did code switch. I can't help code switching. But anyway, I think that I was able to explain for them in a way that made more sense that, you know, part of why 80's character, part of why she felt it was so hard for her to give up that guy was that she felt like she wasn't going to get another guy because she was fat.
Yeah.
And
that's
that
what
was
society tells us.
Yeah.
Literally.
So
you got one chance.
Yeah. So I'm really excited that show's coming back, because then I get to do the after show for it, and school some people, because I think it was eye-opening to a lot of folks for a lot of
and maybe have some more fat people talking about it instead of just you, like holding up all of us with your hands, even though you're strong enough. I will say that the show, an interesting arc of the character is her sort of fighting for herself. Now, it's Lindy West who is the author of the book that it's based upon, and she is an executive producer on it. And she, in real life, has an edge. I mean, she takes on those gamers in Gamergate. Like, she was like full throttle. I was in it on Twitter with her. I was like, this bitch don't care. And so she sort of has an edge that I don't necessarily think 80's character has as of yet. But it is interesting seeing her even fighting for a little bit of her own autonomy. Like, I don't have to hate myself, and I don't have to be an incredible human to everyone and make everyone feel okay that I'm taking up space and here on the world. And like watching that subtle shift of like people being like, why aren't you doing what I want you to do? Like why? And that really does come with like going, oh, I can just be myself and I'm fine. Yeah. Like I'm really okay. So I'm interested in that arc. I feel like they played it a little sharp, maybe thinking that they weren't going to get another chance, but I'm very interested to see where that, because that to me is probably the biggest journey that happened to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Too.
Absolutely. And there's and I agree that they did play it a little, excuse me, a little sharp, because they were trying to make sure they covered it in the 6 episodes. But look, I mean, even, I've had, decades of sort of making that transition from, I'm not allowed to be here to I'm taking up all the space. But even, like I have those, I still struggle with it. So, I think it's going to be really nice to see the character evolve. I think 80 Bryant is hilarious just in general. And Lindy West is also. And there's so many amazing writers on that show. You've got Samantha Irby. You've got these people who
so good.
Are such incredible writers and know the experience of being fat in the world. So I'm so looking forward to it.
Speaking of writers, there was a bit of a kerfuffle in the plus size world. A very prominent writer felt that her work writing about fat bathing suit parties was plagiarized. Yeah. And it was really like why can't we have nice things moment for me. I was like, why do we have to fight about this? What's so interesting is that someone would feel so like that experience at like a fat bathing beauty party where you look around and see everybody in bathing suits look just like you and like not care. Like that is such an empowering thing that someone would have such crazy ownership of it. Yeah. Right? Like it is so the layers taken off that like it really like she was like, no, that's my experience. Like, but I felt bad because I was kind of like, I can see how that was really transformative for you. But also like I could see that could be that way for a lot of different people.
Yeah, and those pool parties have been around for decades. So it's not like other people hadn't had that experience, or I don't know if they've written about it, but I'm pretty sure they had. So either way, I get it as a writer myself, this idea that someone would try to take, my story or retell my story. And I get that sense of like, it's mine, don't. But I, for me, I did have a moment of, y'all, why are we arguing over these little crumbs? Like we're losing our minds.
Why because we got fighting for crumbs?
A fat show got 6 episodes on Hulu, and now we're gonna fight over who gets credit for this experience. Yeah. And the truth is, like, we wouldn't have to be so about it if there was just more opportunity for all of us.
We have been in such a world of lack for so long that it just like we are white knuckling things, and like let this like be the bulldozer that like keeps making the way, right?
Yeah.
Let it make the way for the rest of us, which is what we're doing. I want to talk about,
before you move on, I just want to say,
tell me.
All of the writers who are involved in that controversy are excellent writers who are brilliant at what they do, and so no shade to anybody, but I just wanted to make sure that, because they're all so great and they all should be having the opportunity to write their experiences and share them and have those experiences represented.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad you did do that caveat because I have read everything that, like, not everything, but a ton of stuff that all of them have written.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm like a super fan of everybody. So
me too.
Holla, yes, girl, same. This is why it's good to have someone who went to divinity school with you, because she will always stay on the side of right, even when you don't want to be. I can't wait till Plus This Bitches. She's going to like school my ass one of these days. We're not there yet, though. We don't have a Plus This Bitches today. Don't get excited. So, but one day we're going to have it. So, another person who just like really, I mean, am I going to cry just thinking about her?
It's she's worthy.
Guys, Lizzo, which we have talked about. Last season we talked about her. Like we went to her concert together. Eva and I, we had a religious experience at it. Eva kept talking about the her outfit that looked like an orgasm happening because it was like a pink bodysuit with like all of these like sparkles that swirled around. She's like, that's what it looks like that's what having an orgasm looks like to me. Like and then we told that because Eva had her come by the photo studio she worked at. She called me and was like, you need to come here. Lizzo is here. So I went and met her. I was really shy. I did not ask for a photo because she was doing a very big cover shoot. I probably shouldn't mention Rolling Stone. But she was so funny and down to earth and hilarious, and I just was in her presence and her glow. And then the fact that this album has just blown the fuck up is
so
my
while
thing.
You were talking, in my mind I was singing, it ain't my fault that I'm all about I blame it on the juice, tempo, Jerome, Lizzo.
Yes.
Call us, girl.
We need you here.
We know that you have blown up.
Yes.
And that you are charting up there with Beyonce,
Pink. Yes.
All them folks. But you know what? We need to talk to you.
Yeah. We got Lizzo. Seats. We have seats for you. And we know we would have a blast with you.
Oh, my God.
We would just spill the tea.
We would cut up so bad.
She told me a story.
What?
I wonder if I could say it. Do you think I could tell you what she said? So Eva, I can't believe I'm doing this. Lizzo, you'll forgive me. I feel like you might have even said this on your Instagram. She was talking about that orgasm outfit. Eva was telling Lizzo about it, and she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, my pussy got ate out real good in that bathroom before that show. We screamed!
Yes!
Guys, not safe for work. Not safe for work. I'll have to put this in the title now. But honestly, we were like, okay, clearly that was what happened.
No, because like for real though, her music make you be feeling stuff,
honey.
And you know she had to be feeling. Okay,
I love her because I love. I mean, she's so full throat, just throat.
God, I love
her. And she's coming here. She's
in October.
I'm probably gonna. She's doing like a repeat on the second leg of her tour. We might have to like shut. Like I'll shove it out for her.
We're going.
Yeah. We're
somehow,
make it happen.
some way. Yes.
We want to give you a little taste of Fatch comedy because that is actually the thing that happened to us this year. I feel
absolutely.
We had a crazy premiere at UCB.
So good.
Inner Sanctum. They hold like 200 people, and usually people are like, oh, but if you get 50, it feels full. Girl, we had more than 50.
Okay.
We had a lot of people.
We packed that house.
And it was so diverse, and it was so bodies diverse, colors diverse, gender, everything. It was so awesome. And now we just got to get everyone to come to Van Nuys to see us. So we have an amazing video. Do you remember the name of the guy who did this? Delaney Peace's friend.
Matt.
Matt,
what's we don't know your last name, but we love you, Matt.
Write to us. And we're sorry. I'm trying to give you credit. I can't even do it. That's not due diligence. Bad, Kathy. Season 4 is starting bad. But we're going to show you a little clip of that fun night, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
So, what did you think about the show tonight? The Fat
It
Comedy
was
Show.
so funny. It was so much fun.
And I was like, wow, like, how am I going to get to do what I love? Like, how am I going to get the opportunity to do that? Ah, I will create the opportunity.
How do you live through 12 weddings a year? Shapewear, in corsets, black pants, in any heart. Strapless, won't work for boobs on this side. I'm so fat. How fat are you? I've always been petite, you know. But you so goddamn huge. I mean, how do you even get around? Wow, so you just gonna keep saying crazy things to me. There's no love. There's never love. After all those weeks of not eating and only drinking flat tummy, it's just like now that I'm here in my underwear, I'm scared.
I swear to you in that bikini shirt and that wig, being a Victoria's Secret model will never not tickle me. It is the best thing I demanded of you. So guys, I wrote that sketch, the Victoria's Secret
So
sketch,
good.
and they were like, well, maybe we could just wear like bikinis thrown over our black. I was like, no, girls. We need those shirts.
Yes.
It is literally the best thing.
It's so funny. And there's like an instant laugh. Like we walk on stage with them wearing those shirts and people just laugh immediately because they're like, oh, they're going to play some thin bitches right now. Watch.
Oh, it's so, you guys were so funny. I love that he's singing Seasons of Lunch
With
along
us.
with us. I didn't catch that, I don't think, every time I watched it. I just heard it for the first
I
time in
love
my
it.
ear. My family all wants us to know that they're logged on. Just in case you were wondering.
Hey, Deech family.
This is like a Deech Hassan like extravaganza. And Donna Diggle. Hi, Donna. And my sister wants us to come to Minneapolis to see Lizzo. We could see her many times.
I got a real good friend in Minneapolis. We could make it a party, girl.
Yeah.
We could both come. It'll be, come on, yeah, we'll work it out.
I know. I haven't been. She has two little ones. I haven't been to see them. So, Fatch, you really go. Yes.
We have to tell you, Fatch stands for Fat Sketch. It's the combination of those words. I wasn't sure we mentioned that.
I almost put the animation as our break, but I was like, no, they'll come to the show and they'll see that.
Yeah.
Should we say everybody's names who were in that video?
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to be terrible at this. Hannah
Hurd, amazing comedian. Katie O'Hearn, an amazing character actress.
Simone Mariposa, who is an incredible Instagram influencer.
Oh my God. Delaney Pease, who is an incredible dancer and actor and singer. And the host of Fat TV.
Yes, and also went to the Lizzo dance call.
Yes.
And like made it to the end. And like Lizzo was like, listen, not Coachella, but Future.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna get backstage because it's Delaney, obviously.
Lizzo, we coming for you.
Lizzo,
we don't care who
you
we got.
You should be a little skirt of us, Lizzo.
I love it.
And
Gloria De Leon.
De Leon. You like saying De Leon.
De Leon.
And we have Amy Wittenberger, who did the last one.
Who is so funny. And Shannon Corder, who wrote an amazing sketch with us as well.
And hopefully we'll continue to.
Are we missing anybody?
No, I think we did
I think we did it. Oh, and our Fly Guy dancers.
Oh, my God. Our Fly Guy
We have
dancers.
the most amazing dancers who do the show with us. Nathaniel Tavkar. Is that how you say his last name?
I think.
Nathaniel Tavkar, Jules Sanchez, and Free Ramos. Amazing dancers. We love them so much.
Really fun. And we're looking for more recruits, so just email us.
Yeah, you know any big dudes who can move.
Because, you know, those guys are busy.
They're in demand.
They are. They book shit.
They do.
Don't sleep on them.
Okay.
Okay.
Talented motherfuckers.
I know. They really make me happy. Our shows are fun. The next one is May 24th. We're going to blow that up. I'm thinking a fat show here.
Yes, and bring everybody in.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so. Maybe like close to our next show. We're fourth Friday of the month, guys. Yeah. So with our last 5 minutes, I wanted to talk about a couple of things, especially because you went and represented on Young Turks for us the Gillette campaign that used glitter and lasers. Instagram, amazing human. Who they just like. They were like, can we use this photo? They didn't pay her anything. They were like, yeah. And they reposted her. And hopefully, if you're watching, you can see it on the screen right now. But if you can't, then go to Glitter and Lasers. I'm sure it's there. Or just Google Gillette. And there was a crazy backlash.
Yeah.
And once again, people are flabbergasted that fat people get like they're like, why are people so mean? I'm like, when aren't they mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So the haters came out of the woodwork talking about how can you promote obesity by showing a fat woman in a bikini? Huge backlash. Lots of people had a lot to say because, you know. And the Young Turks invited me to come on the show. They invited you, but you weren't in town, so I got to go.
We do it for each other.
Yeah, to go on the Young Turks and talk about, you know, fat activism and fat positivity and just sort of like making sure that people understood that the reason that Gillette did that is because fat people have hair on their bodies and we shave. Some of us, a lot of us probably.
68% of us,
68% of us probably. So if you want fat people to buy your products, you put fat people in your ads. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable and acceptable thing.
Yeah.
And so we just wanted to say, look, representation matters. If you want us to buy what you're selling, show us.
Yeah, that will always make me lean towards
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
or lean in as twir.
Yeah.
There's a bunch. We might just have to like save some of this, but like Victoria's Secret shutting down stores. You're welcome. Isn't it romantic?
expanded.
Isn't it romantic? Tanked, which I'm not mad about because ew, that premise was gross. I'm still mad about Longshot. I don't understand why he gets to have a Charlize Theron who's like running for president. Like literally go fuck yourself, Seth Rogen. Like, and like, why is there not the equivalent of Seth Rogen for a female? Like, I don't understand any, like, I just hate it. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's not. There are people who love him, and I don't.
I appreciate him comedically, but Seth Rogen is not pulling Charlize Theron.
No.
Charlize Theron not being no president and nobody's
And they'll throw
nothing.
millions and millions of dollars towards that movie.
And, yeah.
But you can't make a fat girl be the
But you
lead
can't,
of a
no.
movie.
You only give us 6 episodes.
Without her, like,
Yeah.
hitting her head and going, oh, I'm pretty. Like,
Right.
it's really
Right.
annoying. And we talked about Dietland, but also Dumplin' on Netflix was really cute and did really well.
I didn't
Thanks
see it.
for
I feel bad about
for
that.
the young chubs. The young chubs need some love too.
I'm going to watch it this
For sure.
weekend.
Guys, we have been, someone asked us if we're on YouTube. Yes, you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us everywhere at Plus This Show. So any social media, even Snapchat, though we don't do it, it's at Plus This Show. Thank you, Eva Tingley, for making that be the first thing that we ever did. She's like, it's the same thing everywhere. She's like really smart.
Nice.
Also, you can find me at La Diche. It's La, L-A-D-E-I-T-C-H-E. On Instagram if you want it, but it's in the bio of Plus This Show. You'll get it. And Nikki's is
At Nikki Bailey _ on all the social medias.
yeah, because you're smart too. You're a smart cookie too. So next week's guest, we have Catherine Ashley coming. She started Philadelphia Curve Weekend, so maybe we'll have some soft pretzels and some hoagies. Maybe we'll make it real up in here.
Right? Some tasty cakes.
We totally need to get some tasty cakes. But that's going to be really fun. She's just visiting, and like we had some Instagram love back and forth, and we just solidified it today. So yay, Catherine! I can't wait to have you here next week. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like what's happening here. We always want to know how you feel. We're following you in the comments. We'll probably do a little after show video. Oh, this is the most exciting thing. I'm so sorry. I know I have to wrap up. We started a Patreon. Is that how you say it?
Patreon.
I'll repost the link again. If you join, at different levels, we offer you different things, and we're going to do a lot of like after the show videos that are just for you guys. And you know, right now, like maybe you're like, whatevs, like we don't really care. But like when we have Lizzo here, bitch, you gonna care.
Okay.
You won't belong to Patreon.
You're gonna want to
won't
be in
you?
that party. All right, don't
So,
sleep, y'all.
Okay. So thank you again. We'll see you same time, same place next week at Plus This. Plus This.